No, sorry.
Is it working? Hi guys, we're live from Planet A. Thank you for joining us. We're doing a live stream Q&A because we have reached 200k subscribers, thanks to you all. And yeah, let's start by introducing ourselves. This is Bena. Bena has been working for us for about almost a year now. She did videos on Shein, but also the Chinese railway system. And yeah, a few sentences on yourself. You are a person.
I am a person.
You exist.
I've been doing this for a bit less than a year. I am Chinese American, so half my videos are on China stuff. And I'm recently doing a piece on green architecture. I'm more interested, I think, in sort of the psychological and sociological aspects of environment stories, I would say.
Okay. And this is Adam. Some of you may know Adam as Climate Adam. Yeah, beautiful YouTube channel. And they've recently joined us, I think also a few months ago, I think. Mm-hmm. And you're atmospheric physicist. So the most sciencey... Oh, wait, no, we also have a civil engineer, but yes. One of the most sciencey people here on the channel. Mm-hmm. Can you say a few words about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a freelance science journalist now, but my background is as an atmospheric physics researcher, which is basically as a climate scientist. And so typically the questions I'm most interested in are the quite big questions about the planet and the atmosphere and how it all fits together. And I guess that's reflected maybe in, I'm trying to think, my two videos so far have been coral reefs and palm oil, which are both very big systematic things. But what's been nice as an atmospheric physicist is they also involve people, because I didn't spend any of my doctorate talking to or studying people. So it's been nice to change that up a bit.
Okay, great. And I'm Kiyodara. I'm the channel lead. And I am not able to do as many videos as I want to, but my most recent one was about carbon offsets, I think, and I'll be the host, and I'll be getting the questions from you guys, and we'll be answering them with the two of these people. And there's the first round is 20 minutes, and then after that we're going to talk to Amanda and to Tim, who are standing right there, for the second round of questions. Okay, let's dive in. Here we go. Okay, so first question. Nagasai Vinesh asks, what did it take you to get here? I am guessing to get here, not in a literal sense, but as a climate reporter on YouTube, this is how I'm going to interpret it. How did you get here? Congratulations for arriving here.
Accidentally. Can I say that?
Yeah.
No.
No, it was your plan. It was your plan from the beginning.
I was actually working in a different department of Deutsche Welle, doing a lot of sort of more protagonist-led adaptations of longer documentaries.
Politics and society and stuff, right?
Yeah, what is that? I don't even know. But so it was also, lots of storytelling, kind of similar storytelling, narrative building videos, and then I was always very interested in archival research and sort of visual archives as well. I'm also a filmmaker in my separate life outside of DW, so these longer videos really appealed to me, and of course this topic was really appealing. It's also so big that it incorporates so many different parts of society, of history, of different, sociology, of architecture, of, all these different elements of life, basically, that intertwine into all of these different topics. So I just, and then Kyo, I was like, Kyo's so awesome. So, and all these people are so awesome. You can't see it, you will see them in front of the camera soon, but they're just all so colorful, also.
Well,
nice
I mean, except for,
except for you and me.
Adam did a great job.
Yeah, he got got the memo, which I did not. But yes, so that's how I ended up here.
Yeah, and how did you get to know our channel? Like, how did you?
So I think, well, I started working on things to do with climate change and the environment. The first time I actually started working on that was through my PhD. And then in doing that, I realized I enjoyed talking about research more than actually doing research, which is a pretty strong sign that I shouldn't continue as a researcher. And then also during my doctorate, I started my own YouTube channel, which was Climate Adam, like, comment, and subscribe. And
that plug there.
Yeah.
We're competitors. No, we're not.
But then, obviously, how people talk about climate change and the environment has changed hugely in the last few years, and it's been amazing and wonderful to see new people talking about it, and places dedicating entire teams to talking about it. And so when I heard that Deutsche Welle was starting a YouTube channel about it, which I think I initially heard from Ajit, who's just off camera, I was firstly really excited, because we just need more conversation about climate change and the environment, but as also just like on a personal level, just like I want a part of that. So I kind of wheedled my way in from there.
We both wheedled.
That's the common thread.
We're not we're wheedlers.
It's the same for me though. I also didn't study environmental science or anything like that. I'm a business major. Also literature and Japanese studies major, very weirdly. But I did business stories, and then I realized at some point that all the stories I did had to do something with the environment. And then my boss was just like, why are you only doing that? I was just like, oh, I guess that's the only thing I'm really interested in. No, actually no. But yeah, so I also kind of wheedled my way in.
I didn't know we came from like I also did comparative literature.
Oh, really?
And cultural anthropology.
Oh my god.
What up? And now we're here.
Yeah, now we're here.
This is the trash
Reporters,
bin for-
journalists. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, not the traditional. We didn't yes, you did, but we didn't study journalism and then went into journalism as such. But we have different backgrounds. Okay, let me have a look at the other questions. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Varumina asks, lots of people are not serious about global warming. What do you guys think about that? I guess also, how do we react to that? Do you have to, did you have encounters with people who don't really take it seriously? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, so for some context, I've been working on climate change one way or another for over a decade now. And I've definitely met some people who don't care about global warming in that time, and met some people who don't believe in global warming in that time. But what has changed hugely, especially in the last few years, is the conversation has become much louder. And we're starting to realize that global warming isn't kind of this separate thing. It's not like, oh, I care about the economy and separately I care about global warming. We realize how it's interlinked with all these different aspects of our lives. Still, there are a lot of people who don't engage with it and don't understand what they need to, but I guess if everyone knew everything, then we wouldn't have a job. So,
very true.
So
yeah.
stay ignorant.
Yeah.
That's not exactly what I'm trying to say. But I think that's, speaking for myself anyway, that's why I really value this job, is because I think it's so important to try and change exactly what that comment's talking about.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think also, to what Adam was also saying, I think it's really unhelpful to think of it as something separate, as if it's like, I think that's what, at least I, growing up, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and this, it was like not even on the periphery of consciousness, and it was this separate thing that was happening that you either believed in or didn't believe in.
In the US?
Yeah, in the US,
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I should preface that. I think now it's exactly what you said. It's sort of the view of it is not so much that anymore, but rather just, I sometimes view it as like understanding the conditions under which we live, and I think for a lot of people, especially this coming generation, it's kind of dovetailing with the way that we understand oppression, the way that we understand the world works, especially feminism, intersectionality, racism.
colonialism. Yeah.
You know, all these historical processes that are completely intertwined also with colonizing the planet, and you can't take them apart essentially. So I think that is, it's a hard question to answer when you say like, caring, what does caring mean? You know, I think this is a moral question, and it's a defining one of this generation. So that's a much bigger thing than like, do you care or not? I think it's sort of like thinking about your position as a human on this planet, basically. Sorry, I didn't mean to get so big.
Very
An essay.
existential.
Oh my God, it's
getting out of control.
On bringing it back to a more personal level, I feel like I have a big problem, especially if you have somebody where you're just like, well, they don't care. I don't think it's necessarily they don't care. Or maybe it is. But even in like my bubble and my circle, there are people who know that, for example, flying is bad, or eating meat is bad, or all of that. But and they do, and they're like, yeah, I do care about the environment, but then like literally fly 10 times a year. And I think it's really frustrating to try, because they know. It's like basically knowing about how bad it is to eat meat, but you still eat meat because you kind of like, you have cognitive dissonance, and that frustrates me a lot when you're just like, you know it's bad. And obviously nobody's perfect, but I feel like, yeah, even in our bubble where I think a lot of people are more conscious and all of that stuff, it's still like that happens, and it's frustrating, and I don't really know how to deal with it except
shame.
Oh, I've tried that.
I'm not sure that's what behavioural psychologists would recommend.
Leading by example.
If it floats your boat, you can use shame.
It's not I'm just throwing it out there.
But I think for something like climate change, it's so much easier to have that cognitive dissonance, because the line between our actions and their impacts, it's not like this straight, clean line. It's this tangled mess that like weaves its way through so many different social issues and so many physical processes at the same time. And so there is more capacity for us to say, oh yeah, sure, I care about climate change, and then carry on acting in a way which isn't compatible with that stated care. And I think, again, that makes the job of untangling that mess and helping people see the links between cause and effect it is, I hope, really valuable work.
And last thing I would add, I think is really interesting, is that it's, I think, redefining also, or at least it's calling attention to our, you know, a lot of these ethics are kind of viewed as individual, for example, these consumer choices, but it's also what is the private, what is the individual, and what is the social? What do we become? How are we connected to this? How are we connected to the other person? So I think that's also a very important part. Okay, sorry. We'll go to the next question.
Sorry, no, I just had to have a look. No. Okay. A bit change of track. Gurpreet Paul from India asks, how do you decide about which topics you do videos on, and how do you research them? Big question. I think first question will take how do you decide which topics you do videos on?
Spreadsheet. I'm just kidding, no.
SEO, I'm literally like, no.
Super randomly, I would say. I mean, we do have like a pipeline of pieces that we want to get to, but I also think a lot of pieces come from previous pieces, and then you talk to somebody and your interviewee, some professor tells you something really interesting, you're like, oh, that is super interesting. No room for it in this video, let's do a whole other video on it. So a lot of videos beget videos, such is the nature of the internet. But yeah, there's a lot, but also just, I don't know, just stuff we read and think about and watch, and wow, that was really bright.
Sorry that the light is acting up.
It's okay.
I hope it's fine.
Yeah.
Just stop it.
Behave. So I don't know. That's
in the beginning. I think we were really looking a lot for SEO. Like we literally were told, look at the main topics, see where there is a niche, see where people haven't done enough yet, or the narrative is going one way. So that's why we did a lot of videos like that in the beginning, and then kind of we realized which videos do well, or what you guys are especially interested in. Seems like a lot of it is agriculture, a lot of it is energy, which I would not have thought, but it's a really important topic. basically all of the energy videos get a lot of views. That's also kind of, we don't always decide on like what would do best, but that we know you guys are interested in. Otherwise, yeah, I think a lot of, I mean, we were talking about, I think also China, or just like you have expertise in it. How can we leverage that expertise? Yeah, how do you pick your topics?
I think often it will start with, a fact or a piece of information I've heard, and I just feel that everyone needs to know about that. So for my first video, which was about coral reefs, I remember when the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released their report on what the difference between a 1.5 degree warmer world and a 2 degree warmer world was. And that report basically said, if we warm the world by 2 degrees,
The corals will die.
all the coral reefs will die. And I'm so used to, as a climate scientist, things being like different shades of bad, that to see like this greater than 99% written in this report was just like so shocking. And I think something that even a lot of people who work on something to do with climate change or environment still aren't aware of. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that as well as I could and share what we can do about it. And yeah, similarly for my palm oil video, hearing that palm oil is actually this incredible productive crop, and trying to bring some kind of nuance and complexity to what often is like a very simplistic conversation about palm oil. So basically it's just this kind of instinct where I've heard something cool and I want everyone else to know about it. By cool, I also often mean depressing.
Or debunking, I feel like sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a lot of debunking myths. You hear a lot of things get thrown around. You're like, but what is that actually? Like, is that even real or true? Or like, what's, yeah.
As soon as companies start hyping something up, I'd be like, antenna. I'd just be like, what is it actually?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think also as an editor, preferring topics that either have not been explored that much and we need a base explanation of what it is. I think like wave power, tidal power, that's kind of a thing, because I was just like, how does that work? I have no idea. Other things are just flipping the script, like the palm oil thing, I feel like was flipping the script. Shein was something that was so insanely big, but nobody was really aware of Shein.
And now it's so huge.
It is.
Did you see the valuation? I was like, how many zeros?
Yeah, so we try to find topics that are not huge yet and tap into something that, basically enriches the narrative. Let's go next. Okay. Here we go. What are the short, Abdul Salam El Halak asks, what are the short and long terms of the channel? I'm guessing short and long term goals of the channel, or what our plans are.
I don't know. I'm interested to find
keep
out.
doing
The Wizard of Oz is here or not?
We plan to basically continue these videos. I think we have one video that's coming up where we partner together with our investigative department, which is really cool. We may want to continue that collaboration, which is also good, or ourselves do more investigative stuff. Because I feel like a lot of what we do is explainers, which is great, but it's also nice to have something that's exclusive. Other than that, I think we are planning on launching a TikTok channel that is linked, and also the videos basically that we make. Happiness. The videos that we make on YouTube will then also kind of, the topics, they will inform TikTok as well. You also have a TikTok channel, right?
Yeah, I haven't posted anything in a year, which is like a century in TikTok timescales. So, don't bother.
Hey!
No, I mean, don't bother following me.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
You bother, you don't bother.
I like your videos though. I like the TikToks, yeah.
Maybe I'll have a revival. Okay, maybe bother.
That's kind of, and Joanna, our other editor as well, is telling us that we're 90 minutes into it. So I think we can do one more question. We'll do one more question and then we'll switch. Let me choose the one question. Okay. We need short answers for this. This is a bit hard, but...
Like yes or no?
Oh, where was it?
The tension is really building.
Yeah, here we go. Sorry.
Are you happy?
Fleming asks, as a marine biologist, I was wondering how you guys stay so positive with all the negative news regarding climate change. I was about to say, we cannot say that out loud. We cannot say that out loud. Yeah. Substances, no.
How? Reading other stuff. I don't know. I think like nurturing your brain in for me it's just very personal. Fiction, reading books,
Escapism.
Yeah. Kyo answered it for me, so I have nothing left to say.
I feel like this is a really common question, like where people find the hope and stuff. And I think it's also okay to sometimes feel really sad and rubbish about this stuff, because a lot of it is quite sad and rubbish. On a personal level, though, definitely when I started working on climate change, there's all these different scenarios which, for which describing what might happen in the future. And it just looked like we were following the worst case scenario, basically. Every year, emissions were kind of going up. And that's not the case anymore. And we've got countries and companies around the world talking about net zero. And I know like a lot of that is greenwashing, but even the fact that like people are trying to wash green is a huge piece of progress.
Yeah.
The fact that there's like enough demand for people to seem this way, that like they're at least pretending. That might not be that. So that might not sound so such an incredible. It's a huge shift. Yeah. Like a few years ago, the idea that we needed to get to zero emissions overall, no one was talking about that. And now the idea that you've got fossil fuel companies pretending that they want to do that. That's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible that you've got these companies basically being like, yeah, it's a huge problem and we're serious about solving it. That's wild. So that does give me hope that the conversation and hopefully the action has shifted hugely from just a few years ago.
Just collective, I would say collectivism, like collective attempts at healing, I would say across the board for people is somewhat, the conversation is changing.
Yeah, on a personal level, just if you look at like the aisle in the supermarket, there's vegan and vegetarian alternatives. The amount of people who have like reduced their flying, reduced their meat consumption, and the conversations that we were having just like 5 years ago, I was flying everywhere 5 years ago. Literally, I was it's embarrassing. And now just kind of the consciousness has shifted. And I think that even people who are not interested in this thing or like very passionate about it are aware and things are changing. Not fast enough, but it's like a glimmer of hope, at least, I feel like.
Sure.
Okay.
Should we leave?
Yes, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Okay. Now, Amanda and Tim, come on over.
Hello.
Hey. Hello. Hi, this is Tim. Hi, this is Amanda. Both of these reporters are from the Environment Desk. And I don't know, how long have you guys been at DW?
I almost for 4.5 years now.
Yeah.
3 years with environment, and before that I did there's this type of traineeship, like apprentice for 1.5 years, where they teach us every kind of skills that one needs of the toolbox in journalism, and that's what I did. And then I joined the new environment team 3 years ago.
And you did like aquaponics, you did light pollution.
Exactly. Yeah, aquaponics, light pollution. I did the mushroom video. My recent one was the greening the deserts.
Oh, that one was, that hit like, I think that hit 1 million, like so quick. I don't know, I think it was it even 2 weeks? I don't know.
It was
super
really quick.
successful.
And actually, we were super happy. Yeah, if you guys see these videos, and we also watch the clicks and the comments. So don't think that we don't care. I mean, if it's
we love it.
We
love the attention.
Everybody likes the video, or is interacting a lot. So this means a lot to us, actually.
Thank you.
Just that's that.
And I think I've been with TW 4 years. Like working, I was an intern for like a year. Yeah, and I did, God, what videos have I done? My most recent one was the climate communication video. I also did one on algae, burning trash, and
The bee one.
the bees.
Water.
Yes,
And
yes.
water was cool.
First milli. Oh no, second milli. Yeah.
Bena's like. Okay. Let's go into the questions. Okay. Esbarao Rao is talking about, can you make a video about historical emissions of the developed world and their responsibility? What do you guys think about that? Like, have you thought about haven't we talked about that at some point?
I don't know. Maybe, I'm not sure if it was me, but I definitely was thinking about making a video of that, and then also about basically about how there are these parts of the world that are like completely left out of the climate conversation entirely. So like in my last video, I had an interview partner who was from the African continent. She was basically saying like, we're left out of the climate conversation. Like people just aren't talking about Africa. So I think that it's definitely a really important topic. Maybe one to add to the list.
To the list, yeah.
The spreadsheet.
Definitely. And also the regions that are going to be most affected are already most affected. And remnants of colonialism and racism.
Yes.
Definitely.
More colonialism.
Definitely. Okay, we have another bigger question. Naomi is asking, how can we tackle the bad system, especially capitalism, as a community and individual? Philosophical question. Yeah, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, the bad system is the one that we're living in, so kind of we have to deal with it. I think that's the first, would be my approach. Like, that's bad and that's all good. I have my difficulties with this kind of approach. I think that's in my eyes. That also what the channel is about. I try to negotiate between all this. Yeah. I don't want to get too deep into capitalism discussion here, but it has its pros and cons, definitely. But this is what I'm struggling with very much, reporting about it, because I believe it is some part of the solution, or somehow it can be part of the solution. At least we have to deal with it as a part of the solution, because we would not wipe out the whole economical structural system we're living in a couple of months or years. And so my approach to this is like, how can we improve what we have instead of dreaming of a quick revolutionary change of everything. As a German, I don't have that much good experiences with this.
Oh, we're going there.
I don't want. No, don't get me wrong here. Don't get me wrong here. It's just like, I just want to be understood that I think it's better to look for the compromises, to see where there is solutions being offered, what are they good for and what not. And I think there are so many solutions, amazing approaches out there we already know. We just only have to use them and go for it. And I think...
On the other hand, I don't know, I was like actually thinking about kind of doing... we were talking about like how there's video topics that come from other video topics, and I was thinking actually like of doing like a meta video about like there are all these solutions, why haven't they been implemented yet?
Capitalism.
And of course that has to do with like, you know, what makes profit in society, right? Like, you know, all of these like really big green solutions, like if they're not profitable, they don't get like implemented. So yeah, of course doing like capitalism and climate change would be a big theoretical topic, but
literally could do an entire series on it, and then we'll be like,
I thought about doing it, but I also got lost to some extent.
Yeah,
it's
huge. It's really huge.
Writing a huge opera, actually,
and I feel like
possible.
I don't know. Maybe.
She's trying to sneak in a new video here. But yeah, I feel like a lot, because if I look at each and every video, not each and every video, but let's say 80% of the video at the end is like, we need to change the system. There need to be like government restrictions or all of that stuff on it. We need to kind of put boundaries to capitalism or change the system. And I feel like it's hard reporting always like that because you feel like you're not changing the system that much. But I hope that like in reporting, in raising awareness, that is the first step to changing the system. And we need, it's true, like we can't be like, okay, now we're going to do an entire different economic system. We have to live with it. And we have to figure out where to put, like, adjust basically, and where to change the system so it actually does make a change.
Yeah.
And also, don't get me wrong. I do these videos to give everybody who's interested the opportunity to make an informed decision. You know, it's not about me to say this is a bad system and we have to put it down. If you think so, maybe that is the solution. I don't want to give an answer to this question, actually. It's just I want to put out facts. I want to ask the questions with you guys in our department, having a discussion about it, presenting what is possible and what's really good for, or debunking things. And that's how we get from one to a compromise to progress, actually.
Yeah.
Informed decision is, it's good. Like giving the tools to make informed decisions.
Yeah. And I mean, any change, of course, is going to come, well, maybe not any change, but a lot of changes come like bottom up instead of like the government saying, okay, now we're going to end capitalism. Like it's a lot of changes come like, like what you were talking about before, like more people eating vegetarian or less people flying, and like this, it has to go in both directions. So
True.
Advocate for the things you care about.
Very true as well. We have a bit more of a upbeat, positive question now. Kelvin Nathan Nicholas asks, what was your favorite moment when reporting about climate change? Do you want to think about it and I can talk what my favorite, because I know what I have. Okay, good. Mine was when I was doing the carbon offset video. And I was standing there and it was actually it was super cold, very wet, like swampland. And then they were actually having bulldozers that put on, like, basically were re-swamping the area. And it was just like 2 bulldozers or something somewhere in the countryside in Germany. I'm just like, what the hell is happening? But actually that was to make carbon offsets because swamplands are carbon sinks and it's like good for the environment, whatever. And that was the first time I saw climate action in action, like just for the sake of climate change, not for like, wind turbines or all of that, but I was just like, oh, this is actually doing something to like suck the carbon out of it. And the person I was talking to there was so enthusiastic about it. And I'm just like, oh, wow, actually, I think this is the first time I've seen climate action in action, which is kind of sad as well. But that made me happy. That made me like positive, although it was cold and like my hands were dying, but yeah.
That kind of reminded me of, I had not in a swamp, but a moment where I was doing the algae peas, and I was talking to the guy who basically made bioplastic bacteria, and he was just so excited about it, and he was just like, this is so cool. And then I didn't really like know anything about it or care about it before, but I got really excited about it too, because like, that's super cool. You made bioplastic bacteria. And yeah, I think
how do you make bioplastic bacteria?
Yeah, he like did like gene modification, but so like this bacteria actually grows bioplastic inside of it. It's crazy.
Oh my god.
And then yeah. I also really like bees, so I really like doing that video.
You got a tattoo of
yes,
a bee.
I have a bee tattoo. I don't
After
know.
that video?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, I got a tattoo
Dedicated
of a bee.
Maybe I should get a mushroom
passionate,
somewhere.
yeah.
Between my toes.
Yeah.
Passionate reporting right there.
Yes.
Well, actually, I think the mushroom video actually was a lot of fun. I had kind of, I don't know, a 3 weeks mind-blowing sensation of, oh my god, these creatures are so amazing. I love them. And
Get a tattoo, man.
This is so cool. I was starting to grow my own mushrooms, edible mushrooms at home.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong. I had them like in my room and so on, and then we took them to the studio and I worked with them, and that was so great just to see them. Everybody I was talking to, I was telling about what they can do, watch the video if you like. what they can do for the environment, etc., and the pollution and everybody. So everybody in my circles knew about mushrooms very well at that time. I think Ajit, who's standing behind the camera, can still remember. So that was really a cool period where I felt like, cool, this nature is so cool, and yeah. I really enjoyed this time, this phase of my reporter, being reporter.
Your mushroom phase.
Yeah. My mushroom phase, exactly.
Okay. The consul asks, what are the biggest political and media challenges faced by environment researchers, journalists and scientists? We'll go with journalists because we're environmental journalists. So what are the biggest political and media challenges? Yeah.
Oh, I can jump in right away. I just did a piece about climate communication. Like about these, there's like huge media challenges because like basically we see this in our department as well. Like these topics are so massive that it's like really hard to break them down into bite-sized pieces, and like even these super long videos, like I know that my videos and like Kio's videos end up being like you started with the script and it's like 16-17 minutes of video, and then you have to say like, okay, cut this out and cut this out, you know, like
kill your darlings.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like the topics are so complicated, and that means that they don't actually like make it into the news a lot. So a lot of times we're kind of like fighting to get, you know, these topics heard, and it's really hard to like research something and then break it down into a 6 or 7 or 8 minute video. It's like you want to put everything in there, but you can't. So that would definitely be difficulty.
Well, actually getting the attention, to kind of why is a swamp super important tomorrow in the news or on social media. Breaking that down to make it interesting for you guys to read it, to click on it, or even better, not only the people who already know that it's super important, there's carbon storages, etc., but those who don't know it and maybe don't even care. So they say like, why should I read a swamp article now? And how to grab these people by their interest, by their attention. I think that is very challenging very often, without being actually superficial, or even like choosing the correct a good style of reporting without being super
without being too negative and without being too positive. I feel like that's always
you're also excuse me for the word, but a bit stupid in a way, like in headlines, etc. Sorry for my English, but
to be superficial, clickbaity,
clickbaity,
how to make swamps sexy.
Oh my god, that's super.
super.
I wanted to do the swamp topic like as a specific topic. I'm just like, how am I gonna make swamp sexy?
Also the pictures, oh my god.
Very hard.
Who wants to look at swamps all day?
I think I just like was talking, I did like a presentation on solutions journalism and how we try to always show solutions, and that is also really hard because we don't want to be like, this is one tiny solution, that's great, this is one tiny solution, that's great, but it's not scalable, that's not what we want. Also, we really try to be careful of not being like, oh, this is gonna, like solve plastic pollution, or this is gonna solve this huge problem, or this is gonna save the planet, because no one thing is going to do it. But I think, basically not letting people be very depressed after watching our pieces, because then we know also you guys won't want to watch a video every week that's like, oh, we're doomed. But also not making it too positive as to like, basically lie to you guys and make it look better than it is just to make you guys happy. That's not what we want. I think the path in between is very hard.
But there's also big fun. I mean, if you manage to have a maybe on the first looking not so interesting looking topic, and then you find a cool story with an historical angle around it, with maybe a personal history around it, and then you suddenly this story grows and use yourself, and that's what I love about this job. Actually, you yourself feel the story, you feel the topic, it's making yourself so curious about it that it's like, okay, let's go for it. Kio, I have to call you, I have a new topic here.
You're always very like enthusiastic.
Let's do this.
It's like, I want to do this, it's really cool. True. I think we have one more question, right, time-wise? Yeah, Joanna is nodding. Okay, good. Let's say. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm sorry. Andre Savarin says, you are doing a great job. Will you ever make videos where you go somewhere and take action, for example, with some organization? So are we going to go out? Because we do a lot of like explainers where we are at home or in the office or wherever. Would you like to go out and do? I think, no, you went to an aquaponics farm once, not an organization, but a company. Yeah. Are there any topics that you saw and you were just like, oh, I would like to go out and do it?
Yeah, I think it was really hard because of COVID for a long time. That's kind of why we started doing this at home and in the office. But now it's getting a bit better. Like we can actually go and shoot places. I think it's just like it takes so much planning to go on the ground and shoot a topic. Like it's actually, I mean, you end up with a 7-minute video or whatever, but it takes like weeks and weeks of planning. So I think that it really has to be something where you're like totally Tim style convinced of the topic.
I'm gonna go. Where did you go? You went to Netherlands.
Netherlands.
Yeah. Wait, one cancelled on you, and then you had to get.
They cancelled the day before.
Oh
I had somebody else wanting to do the video with me, or let's say I could visit them, and they cancelled the day before, for some reason I don't understand till today. But I was like, oh my God, I have this deadline and I want to do this topic. So I called like crazy and I found people in the Netherlands, which is kind of 2.5 hours from Cologne, where I live. And it turned out great. So that was also a good reporting moment to like, wow, this just turned out.
I think also Ajit, who's standing behind us, we did an emissions, not behind us, in front of us, behind the camera. Did a video on methane leaks, and then you joined like an activist and went on looking for methane leaks. I think that's also a kind of video we haven't really done before. I think it turned out really well. So yeah, considering doing things like that more, basically being on the ground and meeting people who are actually also doing something to mitigate climate change. Yeah.
More swamps.
More swamps, more climate action, more specialized cameras, more fish in water and farms. Yeah.
Actually, I would love to go out. It's always, does the topic fit to something on the ground? Does it give enough from a storytelling part of perspective? And that's also questions we have to consider when deciding if we do something.
Capitalism and climate change, for example, would be very hard to pitch as an on the ground.
Exactly,
Oh, and also we have to consider like, is it worth traveling there?
Yeah.
Because that's also emissions. Okay. I think it's not all of the questions, but time-wise, I think we need to stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you
for joining. And I hope we're going to do a live stream next time, maybe 300K. We'll see.
Next week, perhaps.
Just spread the word so that we can get to 300K faster.
Whenever there's 100,
we'll do
Tell your
it.
friends and we'll get more live streams.
Okay. Thank you very much and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
This is awkward. Perfect. Joanna is stopping the stream.
It's like the end of the Zoom call.
Yeah, very true.